Are you looking to establish a food forest this year? We've had ours for a little over a year now, and I kind of want to show you guys what's been going on because spring has sprung. First of all, hi to all the new people out there. My name's Lane Fornerat, aka Lane Vids. This channel is all about building that food forest so that you can have some good, healthy food for yourself, and I want to show you guys ours today. So if you're interested in that, you might want to consider clicking that subscribe button. First of all, let's talk about the composter. As always, we always start with our Yimby Tumbling Composter. I'll link this thing up down in the description below if you guys want to check it out. I say it in every video. It's the best tumbling composter at the best price. And oh, look, a little bird right there. So we've been letting this sit, and it's been sitting. This side's getting kind of goopy and whatnot. I'm not too sure exactly. I was doing a test right here with this on this side, and it got like maggot filled and whatnot, and they ate down everything. I kind of want to dump it out and see everything that's going on in there. This side I've just packed with leaves because you need those good browns to be able to get that composting going. And this, if y'all remember, was up to here. It was filled to the top, and I have not done anything to this, so it's composted down already that much. I mean, that's a good third of the way, maybe a quarter to a third of the way into the composter. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens with that as time goes on. Like I said, if you guys need a good composter, I'll link that one up down in the description below. And then there's also like my dream composter. I'll link that up down in the description below. It's called a Jora. I don't know exactly how to say it, but it looks super nice. Over here in the compost pile, we've got so many things growing just from stuff that we've thrown in here. I believe that this is a bunch of squash and zucchini. Seems to be getting nice and big right there. I think this is avocado, another avocado right here. We threw this onion in there and it started sprouting. Here's another avocado right here, and I believe that's a potato back there. So those just seem to be, something's going right with the soil here, even though it's just a compost pile. And I think that the fact that you see all this life in here tells you how good compost is for your garden, how just taking your food scraps and throwing them in there, putting a bunch of leaves and old, yard waste in there, it really does start to break down after a while, and it makes for the best soil. And I can highly recommend, if you have the room, to start some kind of compost pile. This is our grapevine right here. It looks like we actually have a little bit of life. We've been seeing a lot of life recently, and so I'm excited to see how this thing does. We got more there, and then we also have some leaves right here. So the grapevine is not dead, which I was scared of. So we'll see how this thing performs this year. Make sure to click that subscribe button if you guys want to see how everything performs. This thing came out of nowhere. We had all those little tiny buds, and all of a sudden it exploded with all these beautiful white flowers. This is our orange tree here, and God, it smells good. Oh, I could come out here and sniff that for days. It smells like a honeysuckle is what that smells like. Hopefully we get good production. I think we've, in the past year, attracted a lot of insects, pollinators, to our yard, and so I think that's where a lot of that came from. Our spinach that Krista planted the other day is like going insane. Look at this. This is amazing. Perfect, direct from the garden to the mouth. I love it. It's delicious. And then we also have all of our carrots right here that are growing nicely. We're gonna let those grow, see how well they do. We always have trouble getting carrots in our yard, but I think that we don't leave them long enough. We're gonna see how those perform this year too. Let's see, we've been having an ant problem in the yard too, so we've been trying to remedy that, but otherwise everything seems to be growing well. And look at this blueberry bush right here. We're getting so many blueberries this year. One thing that we knew about blueberry bushes is that we needed to get another one so they can kind of cross-pollinate with each other, and it'll attract pollinators to it so that they can cross-pollinate from one to the other. And apparently it worked, because we have this one here, really exploded. We have two more blueberry bushes that we planted late last year in the front yard, and those are exploding, so it seems to be doing well, and I'm very excited about the blueberry bushes that we have. Our pepper plant right here, Krista pulled some of the peppers off of this to put into a salad, and she said that they did not taste that great. I think we kind of let these things go a little too long, but it's cool that the pepper plant is still growing because those roots of the pepper plant are really like churning the soil down there because they're still growing, and it's just making it more fertile. Again, we have a ton of carrot in here, this first row right here. Then she planted more spinach right here. Then we planted some more carrots back here. We're doing what do we call that? Where you plant certain things that grow well, companion planting. If you guys, there's a great book about companion planting. I'll link it up down in the description below as well. I got it from the library, and it just tells you what to plant next to other plants so that the plants survive or do well, they thrive together well. Like you plant carrots near tomatoes because the carrots the roots go down further than the tomato plants, and so it brings up a bunch of the nutrients out of the soil for the tomato plants to grow even better. And we've had success with that. In this little area also, our pea plants are really starting to perk up. We got this little guy right there, and then there's a couple more back there, not producing yet, but they are getting nice and tall. And in the back of the yard too, we also have more pea plants that are doing really well. In fact, let's go on over to, oh, the comfrey right there, perked back up. I thought this thing was dead, and I thought, you know, over the winter with the cold and whatnot that it was gonna fall back down, but man, that thing just really perked up. We have our leaf pile here. As you can see, we're getting some greenery back there. That's like nitrogen fixers, clover, and all that type of stuff. But it seems to be doing okay. I'm kind of curious to see how that does this summer, because that's whenever we have the most issue with weeds in that area. And my idea was to kind of smother the weeds down with all the leaves that we put there. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not too sure exactly how that's gonna happen. But last year, whenever we did a leaf pile right here, it did really well. And so I added a whole nother thing of leaves to this, if y'all watched the previous videos. And there's a tomato bush way back over there that's still doing really well. So that's, it's good that this is still nice and fertile. This is another pepper plant right here. Still getting some flowers on there, which I find amazing. And it's getting nice and tall. There's actually some other pepper plants. See, look at this little guy right there. We got a little pepper right there. And I'm noticing that the pea plants that we planted right here, this little guy, he's starting to climb up the pepper plant. So we may actually keep these pepper plants, even though they may not be producing anything, keep them as a trellis for the pea plants. That's another thing with companion planting, is that you use a plant, like a tall plant, to have something else trellis up it. That's why giant sunflowers are really great to plant near pea plants or any other climbing plant, because they can make their way up the stalk of the sunflower, and they'll get tons of light, and it's just a natural trellis that you can use in your garden. I think it looks cool whenever they all start growing together. Let's see, this tomato plant back here is kind of making its way on over to here, and it's kind of climbing along the trellis right here. I'm curious to see how this thing's gonna do. We already have some small tomatoes growing. I just noticed this. This is so exciting. So hopefully this tomato bush, I'm calling it, because that is not a little plant anymore, that is a bush, is gonna do really well. And it's a Mexican midget tomato, which my uncle, or Krista's uncle, my wife, gave us some seed to plant last year, and we planted it, and this thing never died. It sprung back up, and I'm pretty sure it's a perennial, so it should last forever. At least that's what happened with her aunt and uncle who live in Florida, and her grandfather, who planted some of the seed in his garden, and it just exploded and stayed as well. Look, I'm just noticing also there's some more Mexican midget tomatoes right there. I think we're gonna have an explosion of those midget tomatoes. That's gonna be so good. I'm so excited about that. Coming back around here, I mentioned earlier we had those blueberries, and this is one blueberry bush right here. As you can see, getting great production for just a 1-year plant right there. We planted this last year, and I'm glad just to see something going on here. That's very exciting. And then this is the apple tree. We still have these little leaves down here, not much else though on the rest of it. So we're kind of watching this thing to see exactly what happens, to see if it actually makes anything. Oh, I forgot to show you all the plum tree too. We're gonna get to that in just a minute. This is the other blueberry bush right here. Again, doing extremely well. It's got the buds as well, so hopefully we see some production out of that this year. Let's see, let me go back on over here to the plum tree, because I gotta show you guys how spring has really sprung, because I've been watching this thing for a long time now. We planted this thing like 4 years ago. It was just a stick in the ground that we got from Earth Day at one of the local places here. And look at this thing. It's taller than me now. It's probably a good 7-8 feet tall. It's got flowers all over the place, and the leaves just came through and really filled out every single limb of this tree. I'm super excited about this. Hopefully, I don't know if it's gonna happen this year. We may get like 1 or 2 things. It's a plum tree, so we may get 1 or 2 pieces of fruit from it, but I think definitely by next year, it's gonna really do well. On the other hand, we have this one over here. I'm not too sure, I can't remember which one this is, but it hasn't put its leaves out yet, so we're kind of waiting on that to see what happens there. But all in all, looking great over in the food forest. If you guys want to watch more of our food forest videos, I'm going to put more of those videos right there on the screen. I'll see y'all in some of those videos. If you are looking for any of the products that we use to create our food forest, I'm going to link those up down in the description below, along with that Yimby Tumbling Composter over there if you guys want to go and check that out. Thank y'all for watching. That thumbs up is always appreciated, and keep composting and growing your vegetable. What do we say? I never can remember. All right, bye.